Philippians chapter 2, verse 12 and 13. So then, my beloved, just as you have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. For it is God who is at work in you, both to will and to work for his good pleasure. So I see two things reading this. I see one, that it is God is in control, and it is God who is God is the one ultimately in control, even though that it says work out your salvation with fear and trembling. He when it's saying that, it's telling us to walk by the Spirit, to walk and produce the fruit that Jesus wants us to. For it is God who is at work in you, both to will and to work for his good pleasure, like it says in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8, 9, and 10. For it is by grace that you've been saved, through faith, not by works. And it says, for he has works prepared beforehand. But the thing I wanted to point out mostly about this is that I've run into people that claim to be believers who say that they want to jump into relationships or because they think that they can go and make somebody saved, that they can make somebody believe in Jesus. If you jump into a relationship with that person, it's okay that they don't love Jesus. You'll change them. No, it says right here it says to work out your salvation with fear and trembling. In other translations, it says to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. So God works in each of us on our own. It's it's not our job to go and try and change others beforehand. That's a different story when someone gets married to a woman for the husband to lead, but before that, no. And that's what I wanted to share.
Okay, in chapter 2, verse 12, we see, yes. Therefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed. Yeah, first is obeying. And not as in my presence only. Yeah, it is very important. Not as in my presence only. Right? So that means they want to take the preferable, right, in size of polo, right, like this. They want to give a favor. Mm-hmm. That's what he just want to them. Not as my presence only, but now much more in my absence also. Next is important thing we see: work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. It means work out your own salvation. That means, yes, salvation is free. It is a gift. God has given to us the sovereignty of God in salvation. But one thing we see in this passage, it refers the process of sanctification. It is talking about sanctification. There's a sanctification. When we see sanctification, not as in my presence only, we see. That word is the main. Not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence also. There's just process. What out in salvation? Just we have to process. Our process must be sanctification, sanctify. It was talking about this passage. There's a fear and trembling. For it is God who works in you both to will and to do for his good pleasure. The next paragraph is in the next verses. For it is God who works in you.
Mhm.
It is God, the one who is working, both to will and to do for his good pleasure.
The Apostle Paul writing, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. That little statement right there reminds me of Matthew chapter 11, verse 12. Our Lord Jesus is preaching, and he says in Matthew 11, verse 12, from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and violent men take it by force. And then in Luke 16:16, there's a parallel passage. It's Luke 16:16. Luke 16:16 reads, the law and the prophets were proclaimed until John. The law and the prophets is a way to describe the Old Testament. The first 5 books of the Bible was the law, and then the prophets after that. It says the law and the prophets were proclaimed until John the Baptist. Since that time, the gospel of the kingdom of God has been preached, and everyone is forcing his way into it. And so one translation of that can be that salvation in Jesus Christ is not casual. Brother Thang referred to sanctification, or being set apart, or being made more holy like God. And we've made the point before in these studies that if you were born again yesterday, you should be more like Christ. You should know his word more, and you should love his word more in a year than you did today, right? And that's part of the process of sanctification that Brother Thang was talking about. But it's not casual. And I think the Apostle Paul makes that point here. He says, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. So it's not just, hey, well, I'm in, so I'm good. I'm just gonna sit here. I know John 3:16. Can't tell you much else, but I'm in and I'm good. So that would be the wrong attitude to have. And I think in Hebrews, the writer of Hebrews refers to people being dull. People being dull of hearing, and telling his audience that they should know more. By that time, they should be able to, they should be even teaching and preaching. But he said, I've still got to give you milk. I can't even give you solid food. So, anyhow.
You're reminding me of this Sermon on the Mount about the blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the gentle, for they shall inherit the earth. And I think I should explain each of those. When you're poor in spirit, you realize that you're sinful. It's someone that realizes that they're sinful and that they are, I was about to say, and that they are a sinner. But that's the same thing. Blessed are those who mourn over their sin. They're going to be comforted over their sin. Blessed are mine says gentle, but meek is another translation. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. The only way you're going to learn more and more about Christ within a year is when you hunger and thirst for and become more and more like Christ. Righteousness is when you hunger and thirst to become more like him, when you have that desire. You just go on.
I think Brett and Daryl's scriptures go hand in hand. Brett read Philippians 2:12, and it says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Daryl's 1 Timothy 4:7 said to train yourself to be godly. So it's like in Philippians, he's not talking to a bunch of lukewarm Christians. He's talking to believers who obey. He says, as you have already obeyed and continue obeying. And so he's basically telling them to continue to grow, as Lauren was saying. And Paul told Timothy to train himself to be godly. So it's a continuous effort. Paul says that he runs a race. So it's not like we're just relaxing, drifting away, doing nothing. It's a continual thing. It's a continual growth. We want to learn to be more and more like Jesus, and to walk like him. Paul says, imitate me as I imitate Christ. And that's the goal of every Christian. That should be the goal of every Christian, because then it says that God's the one that's working in you. The NLT version says that he gives you the desire to please him, and I remember, when the Lord first called me, my friend Max used to tell me, pray that God would give you a desire to read his word. And so that's it right here. It's God, the one that gave me the desire to read. And, now I just can't get enough. I just didn't do it. God did it. And it's the Lord that's giving us desire to please him. Earlier we were talking about Brett, and he was saying about how, it doesn't matter what the girl or her father thinks. I just want to please the Lord. You see, he's training to be godly. Brett, without you even knowing, I mean, you remind me so much. My wife calls him Little Timothy because, where else do you get a 26-year-old attending Bible study with a bunch of guys, a bunch of men? He's constantly in the Word of God. He's every day. He can remind me like a little Rudy, just constantly, training to be godly. But it just, you could just tell that Brett loves the Lord, and he's doing these things, working his own salvation with fear and trembling. He fears the Lord, so he tries to do the right thing. He's like, I don't want to leave my mom alone. I mean, so he wants to do the right thing. If he didn't have the Lord, he would be like, who cares? So it's both the training yourself to be godly, working out your own salvation, go hand in hand. They're both improvement they're both striving to be better in Christ, to grow, growth. And it's Christ that does the growing, not so much us, but we have to train ourselves. So we continue reading his word, learning more about him, and he causes the growth.
Yeah, obedience to God is one of the requirements for spiritual growth. And those two scriptures do go hand in hand too. God gives us the power and desire to read the Bible, study the word, and spending time in prayer. That's how he can begin to transform us and to grow spiritually. So, yeah, it's just like being spiritually fit.
Ponce, you said to do the right thing, train yourself and to do the right thing. And if you go down to verse 14 in Philippians 2, it says, do all things without complaining or disputing, that you may become blameless and harmless children of God without fault in the midst of crooked and perverse generation, among those who shine as the light of the world. So that's perfect. So we're doing things so that, we do things without complaining. We do things without dispute. I mean, it's what we're called to do.
Yeah. It's
like with Daryl, like you said, it's Daryl's verses where it says, what was that? The first one that you said, in verse 7, while doing all things without complaining, I think it was. What was that?
It was 1 Timothy 4.
Yeah, 7.
First Timothy 4:7.
It says, do not waste time arguing over godless ideas.
Yep.
So you don't do anything without complaining. You do things unto the Lord, and you do it in a godly way. So that's perfect. You're right, Ponte. Those two line up really well there.
Yeah.
Training for godliness.
Yep.
It reminds you that the Bible has one author.
Yeah.
Right? One author.
Yeah.
He used 40 people to do it. So, I think.
But they're all knitted together.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man.